So guys, the other day I accidentally killed, by my own mistake, my favorite MPPT solar charge controller. My first one I ever had, the only one I've ever had. I bought it in 2014 for this channel, paid a whole $90 or $80 for it, and I finally killed it the other day with my own mistakes. And I put too much current through it. It was 20 amps, I put 26 amps through it. And I'm not in a position to afford solar stuff. My electricity bill is only $30. I'm not making money back from this. I'm just doing it for fun. And each Solar Sunday video only gets me maybe $5. So I can't afford to buy new equipment right now. But thankfully this year is the year that I finally caved and decided to have a publicly facing email and do reviews. So I went on Amazon and I thought, well, what's the charge controller I would buy? And it turns out solar charge controllers have gotten a lot better over the past couple of years. The parts shortage has gone away. What we have here is a solar charge controller by Ampinvt. I actually can't see it. I can't pronounce their company name. And I think it might be Ampinvt. But you see this same kind of one in multiple places. And I asked them, like, hi, I do a YouTube channel. You know, I had all that kind of language where I'm like, hi, I do a YouTube channel and I'd like to review this. And they were so kind and they said yes. So here it is. Now this video is actually like a dual sponsorship because I also contacted Redodo. They didn't contact me. I contacted them and asked them if they would send me a battery. Now, the kind person on the other end of the email chain mentioned that they only do 100 amp hour batteries, but we got to talking, and a week later she said she talked to her boss and they're going to send me a 200 amp hour battery if I do 3 videos. Well, I'm going to do more than 3 videos with this. This is amazing. So this is a video about the stuff I would actually buy. And I've looked at this. This is pretty good. This can take up to 150 volts input. And it can do 12 volts, 24 volts, 36 volts. Or sorry, no, not 36 volts. 12, 24, and 48 volts. Forgive me. And see, one of the issues I had with the other charge controller is that my panels, they're a weird voltage. They sit at 44 volts, 45 volts whenever they're not in use. And what killed my 20 amp solar charge controller was I didn't realize it had a 25 amp fuse in it. So its output got too high, it popped the fuse, and then this was disconnected from the battery without me knowing. And it shot up to 45 volts because it wasn't taking any power, and it fried some of the MOSFETs. Now each one, it is 5 different MOSFETs in it. They're not the same type. So I'm gonna have to see which one it is and then order that one. But this, being able to take 150 volts input, I feel like running off these strange panels that I have from 2008 or 2009, it'll handle them better if I mess up, because I was pushing this way too hard. But this is a 60 amp charge controller. Now let's open up the front. It hooks up the same as all the others. You have the solar panel input, the battery, and the load. Now you also get a lot of information so you can harvest telemetry from it as well. It's so bright out here that I can't see the phone screen, so forgive me if my framing is bad. We will first start by connecting up the battery. And those go in these 2 connectors in the middle. And then after that, we'll continue by going with the solar panels. I don't believe these connectors will fit in this, but let's see. No, they won't. Oh well. Well, that's a shame. I will have to cut those off, but let me see if I have other connectors. Here's what I've decided. I would normally have this connected to the power input, and then that would go onto the extension cord that I've made. Now it's funny, people have complained to me about using solid core wire. One person was even saying they couldn't take me seriously. I don't have any money for this stuff. This was leftovers from a construction project. It works. There's not much of a voltage drop across it. You can use solid core wire. And also, I've pretty much run out of these Anderson connectors. So it's probably best that I save 2, and I just cut that wire off, and I have that run directly into it. So now this will have, a 10-foot cable on it. So that'll be easy. And then I'll connect it at the panel. So another thing is that, and the end that I cut off can be the output for the battery. Oh, this is beautiful. So I think I'll give myself a couple feet, actually. Yeah, I should give myself a few feet. There's nothing wrong with doing something cheap as long as you make it work and you make it work safely. Now, this should be pretty good. And what I really like is this comes with a manual that has all sorts of charts in it. It also comes with a thermometer you can put, I believe, on your batteries. Now, this is what I thought was most beautiful. They have the efficiency curves for a 12-volt battery system running with a 34-volt panel. As you can see, it's most efficient around the 150-watt area, but it still has like 92% efficiency around the 580-watt area. That's pretty amazing. Trying to work in whatever shade I have, at least for the moment. But now it's time to look at the Redodo battery. Now, I sought this one out because this is what everybody seemed to have really good reviews of, and now that I have it, I notice it's actually quite a bit heavier than the other batteries I've been sent by companies. So it appears that you might get more money for more battery for your money, which is pretty nice. Still though, I haven't been able to test it. That's the thing that's been bugging me, because we had 2 weeks of just rain and clouds during the eclipse even. And so I was never able to fully charge either of these batteries. But that's also why the 20 amp charger didn't break before, is because we didn't have hardly any sun, and I thought I would barely get 20 amps, but then all of a sudden it started going up to 25 amps. So this battery is at 13.09 volts. This does not read current backwards, unfortunately, but oh well. It does read it forwards though. Now, we're gonna first start off by plugging the battery into the charge controller. You should always do that first. And let's see if we can do the settings right. I do like how this is laid out. You know, things have gotten way better in the past couple years, because during the pandemic, all we had were fake charge controllers. We didn't have the real ones like this. So many of the listings were just the PWM, the pulse width modulation charge controllers. And yeah, did I say inverter? I meant charge controller. But it's so nice to actually have good ones these days. Well, positive, positive. What's nice is they actually have the markings on here. Positive, positive, positive. Boot up, please wait. DC load. Okay. Oh, this makes me so excited. So yeah, the other thing that I've heard about this is that I was looking up what reviews people have given these, and the only failure that I've noticed is the LCD screen. But I'm going to let you know, that's probably a good sign, because these LCD screens are most likely something very cheap that you can get on eBay. And although I'm not opening up this one in this video, I do repairs for people with electronics, enterprise equipment, things like that. So if you get one of these and your LCD fails, ask me and I might be able to help you fix it. Or maybe you can send the LCD to me and I'll replace it, or whatever board or whatever. But I wouldn't mind helping you, because it seems like people aren't having an issue with the actual technology side of it. It's just the LCD. And that usually happens whenever you have high heat or high humidity. It eats away at the edge connections on these cheaper LCDs. So I would say I'm not too worried about anybody saying that they had issues with that, because LCDs do sometimes just kind of go whenever they're in high heat or high humidity. Okay, So now, let's wheel this over and connect up the panels. Okay, I have this on top of the trash can. Let's plug this in, and then we can move this up. Ooh, why'd the display go down? Okay, I think my phone is already getting too hot, even though it's barely spring. So I'll set it over here in the shade. The reason I'm starting with the solar panel down is because I don't want to start it with such a high surge current. Oh, this thing's doing it again. It just randomly shuts off in the heat when it's over 80 degrees outside. All right, so it took a little bit, and then it went up to about 7 amps, and it's hovering at 30.7 volts, which is pretty good. It's really good, actually. Now, I hope that has a fan in it, and I hope the fan kicks in, because it's quite hot out here. Now, the reason I put this down is because I don't want it to start up with too much current, because I've noticed some charge controllers, whenever you make the connection, they notice the sudden voltage and they get a little bit upset. But this one might not. This one might actually be okay with anything. Whenever I connected it up, I don't know if it showed, but it actually made a click. So there's a relay in there, not MOSFETs, just an actual relay. Now I say let's connect up the other one. If I haven't complained enough about it, I really hate those British Petroleum connectors that they have. They suck. We're in a bit of a shade now, but 8-10 amps, not bad. Now is the unfortunate part where I just start sweating uncontrollably because I've had heat stroke so many times, and now I feel like I'm gonna be sick. But we'll have to get this solar panel up on a building eventually, so I don't have to keep doing this. I was playing around in the settings, and oh, the fan's on, very nice. I got to the menu, and parameter settings, there's a password. Well, it's down, 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 up, up, up. Okay, so then you can pick battery type. Oh, my screen keeps dimming. Am I gonna have to turn off my phone just so it resets so it doesn't think it's overheating? There we go. Now it's not in temperature freakout mode. Maybe it got too hot in my pocket or something. But, okay, let's go menu. Oh yeah, down, parameter. Oh yeah, one person complained that the display, the color, the brightness turns off after a few minutes. I was like, well, yeah, duh. Battery type setting. Lithium ion, SLA, gel, AGM. Okay, let's do lithium ion. Set successfully. I wish it made it done lithium iron phosphate, but oh well. Battery rated voltage. 12 volts, good. Factory reset. Discharge limit voltage set. Oh, interesting. I'm not going to be using the discharge in this video, so I don't need to do that. Charge current settings. Charge voltage settings. Oh. I guess you should hold it down. Either way, 13.8 volts is actually good. That is compatible with that. So let's back out. I like that there's so many functions. Oh, look at that. That's so cute. It's like Mario Paint. It's going in there. 9 amps. 140 watts. I almost said, oh, it doesn't show the wattage, but it does. It shows it right there. Very nice. I'm going to want to see about being able to control it through RS-232. Or sorry, RS-485. Oh, interesting. RS-485. I like this. This is kind of what I was expecting. And I like how versatile it is. It's better than 10 years ago, and it's definitely better than 3 years ago. Because we had a bad selection of charge controllers back then. Today is my day to test fire alarms in all these buildings. We're also having to replace some exit lights. But while that's happening, we're collecting photons. 13.4 amps. Okay. Now it's at 13.3 volts. So we are getting some voltage drop, but oh well. These are cables that I got off of a power box. So, you know, I don't have money to really buy cables. I have to use them from the scrap. But dumpster dived cables, that's what I got so far. I can always double them up later though. Or I can use what I used to use, jumper cables. Jumper cables definitely work. It's the next day, and I hope you guys remember a few videos ago, we had these 3D printed miniatures. You gonna put them in the box for them?
Yeah.
We're gonna take them to Conshohocken to Theis's sister and her husband's house. It's been a cloudy day, but I left this out overnight. Yeah, I really don't want anybody messing with it or the wind blowing it, but oh well. We're getting 6.8 amps, almost 7 amps. Total 0.7 kilowatt hours. 13.36 volts. Very nice. That's actually almost charging it up, because I believe 13.3 volts is 90%, and 13.4 volts is 100% for that battery. Now we're gonna get some rain and more clouds. So I figure I should probably just take this apart now and put it in. But we got almost an entire kilowatt hour, which we might want another 200 or 300 watt hours, and that'll fully charge up the battery. But I do really worry about the wind, because the wind is so brutal up here. We had a table over there. It threw the table and hit the side of the building, like at the second floor, because it was a glass table. Glass went everywhere. So it looks like I may need to change the voltage, because it's topping out at around 13.62 volts. And we're getting a voltage drop because this is a longer cable. So I may shorten that. I don't know. I looked at this building, because this one, I have permission to put the panels on top and put the batteries inside, but unfortunately there looks like there's a little bit of a leak from the roof right in the spot where that conduit is. So not from the conduit, it just happens to be on top of it. So I guess I'll have to put it on top of the workshop, because I'm going to be messing with that. I almost wonder if I could continue this hole and just drill through that brick. It all depends what I can get permission for from the owners. But they let me do pretty much anything, so anything within reason. You know, it's funny, I'm stalling because every second is a milliwatt hour. I know we have places to be, and we have to go take those 3D printed Middle Earth miniatures to our relatives, but look at all the pollen. You can see all the pollen. It is spring. Ugh. Poor Theis, she's been coughing, and hasn't been able to sleep very well either, just because of all the pollen. That's spring for you. Well, time to disconnect it, and we can see what the voltage actually is. So, getting 6 amps. You know, it's nice. It is. I like it. All the pollen.
I know.
As soon as I got the panels inside, I saw the specular reflection and all the pollen. Oh gosh. This is really good. And these cables are thick enough, or hard enough to actually make it to where it pushes this off. So I need to mount that somehow. It helps that it's cloudy, because if that was full power, it might make a spark.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean about this pollen. Ugh.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Oh, nice. I thought you were gonna ask me to record. I mean, you're the video editor. You know how to record. You know what shots we need now.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, it's all green.
Yeah.
Okay, battery next. Well, that sounds like a... Is that the name of a show or a store? Battery Next?
Yeah, you know what? I like it.
If any of my viewers want that as their trademark, Battery Next, have it. I might still use it. I'm gonna unplug it now. Looks like the voltage has gone down to 13.26 volts. So maybe we're at like 85% charged. Now we have that disconnected. Looks like thicker wire than 12 gauge would be good. That's to be expected. But it still did well enough.
Oh no, is it coming apart?
Yeah, well, I mean, it came apart when we first got it.
That's true.
Just all unraveling.
Well, we got one more.
No, that one's unraveling too, though.
Is it? Oh.
That's why I picked that one, is because the other one's unraveling.
Oh, man.
Okay. I guess we should let that go for a bit. And we should let the storm come through. And hopefully we can get more charge before Sunday. I don't know how that'll work, though. We got miniatures to take over across the county, though. And Middle Earth miniatures are more important. I almost forgot this. I've already dropped it once, by the way.
You did? No.
Because it's so slippery.
Oh, well.
It was I only dropped it off the battery.
Okay.
It was sitting on the battery and it slid off. Wow, we actually have sunlight after the rain. I can't believe it. It was just raining a bunch this morning. I say let's get those panels out and get some extra sunlight into them. I had to put it on a piece of foam because it would just slip sliding around, scuffing up my brand new battery. Oh well, I feel bad about that, but whatever. We have it plugged in. And I think one thing that I want to do is see if I can change the charge voltage. But let's get these connected and get some photons turning into electrons. So before I connected this up, this was sitting at 13.18 volts. So it might be like 75% charge, something like that. Now let's go into the settings. The wind might be an issue because we still got stormy weather, but if I don't charge now, we're not getting any sunlight. Ooh, no. No, that's down. Oh, I hate that. That's so weird that down is up and up is down. They must have gotten the wires switched. So we're going to 14.1 volts. I think we weren't capturing all the current that we wanted last time. Yeah, now, oh, look at that, 21 amps. Okay, now we're doing it. Okay, because it wasn't charging at the full power before. And that was because it was floating at 13.8 volts. Now, at this point, we're able to get up to, well, what was that, almost 200 watts? I forgot to look. Okay, so I could have had that before, but I had this configured wrong. That makes me feel better. So we're at 0.7 kilowatt hours. Let's see what we can get today. Oh, it actually does say there, okay. Looks like we got some sunlight coming back. And I'm curious if that 0.008 will go up while we're watching. You know, they could have just said watt hours, but oh well. I just came outside again, and it looks like we might have had some sun for a little bit. I wonder how much we got. So we're currently getting 13 watts, and we got 0.220 kilowatt hours, 13.55 volts, 13.35 volts. Not bad. Now, there might be a chance that we may actually get some sunlight for a brief moment. So maybe I should move the solar panels. That'd be too much hassle. The cables aren't long enough. The more I move these, the more I risk scratching them up. Oh, never mind. I just realized this is actually on the upswing. So that light, we're at a point now in the year where, with the angles of the buildings, this is in the shade for a while, from 3 o'clock onwards, and then light dips down, and then the shadow takes over again. But, yeah. I like how many settings there are in this. It gives a lot of possibilities to program it. I'm so excited for this. I'm really enjoying how efficient this is. Man, my wrist is not strong today. Ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. So we've put 0.9 of a kilowatt hour into this. Oh, not bad. We might be like to 95%. I want that to sit at 13.4 volts for a while. I think maybe tomorrow I can actually get it, and I can get it hooked up and get it fully charged, and then we can do a video of that. I have the other one to do as well. I have 3 of these big batteries to do reviews of. I'm excited. Now this one actually says 2560 watt hours. I believe the other one that I'm reviewing says 2100. So I'm pretty excited. An exciting battery. Well, guys, we're finally blessed with a sunny day, and I've come here early before I have my coffee with ice, and let's set up the solar panels and hopefully finish charging the Redodo battery. That charge controller is working rather well. It was so windy yesterday. All those storms had a lot of wind to blow off still. I came back here once and the rocks were just flying around from the wind. That fucking door. And with that, we have it hooked up and ready. I'll come by in an hour or two and I can see if this is fully charged. I think this might still need another hour of charging though. And today is the day I'm going to be uploading this, and it's also, today is the day that the Final Fantasy XIV 7.0 benchmark comes out. So we're going to go test our computers to see if they'll work. Well, that's pretty much it. In the next video in this series, I'm going to be putting this solar charge controller, I'm also going to be doing a better review of it. I'm going to be putting 4 of these panels on this building, but I have a lot of repairs to do. There's like particle board in there, some of the boards need replacing. The same kind of stuff that I do. I just need to spend a week or two doing that. And one thing that I'm very excited for, I now have 3 of these Westinghouse transformer boxes with a really nice switch on them. So this is going to be my solar switch. Oh, it's so hard to push. And I figured there'll be enough room in here to have, there'll be enough room in here to have the charge controller inside, removing a lot of that and just keeping the big switch. Although, is that 30 amp? I don't know if that might be too weak, actually. Actually, that should be just fine because it's on the solar panel side. And even though we'll be most likely putting out something around 50 amps on the battery side, on the panel side, each panel only gives 5.5 amps. So we'll probably end up with about 22 amps being through the solar panel side at 37-ish volts, or well, 30 volts. Well, I gotta get back and edit this video so you can see it on Solar Sunday. Me and Thais hope you have a happy Solar Sunday, and thank you very much for watching. See ya.